Hello friends, this is Sheeba Rakesh connecting you with the voices shaping our world. Every day, in fact every minute, we are flooded with an information overload. Messages, ideas, digital noise, excitement and what not. However, there is a difference between story and story, episode, and an idea and an idea. And there is a difference in the people who bring this about. Professional mindsets which cut through the clutter to deliver stories that stick around. Joining us today to decode the art of communication and media expertise is Priyanka Dixit with over 20 years of experience in television, radio, film direction, content creation, event planning and media relations. Welcoming you to the English program, Priyanka ji.
Thank you so much, Sheeba. I'm overwhelmed coming back to from where I started my journey.
That is indeed wonderful. And yes, you have been a part of Akashvani Lucknow when the FM started in the year 2000. I still remember that. Priyanka, I would just like you to tell our listeners, with so much of AI coming in and so many producers and so many consumers hogging the limelight as far as content creation is concerned, how is AI changing content creation?
With your permission, Sheeba, before I answer your question, may I let our listeners know that I was with AIR even before FM came. My association dates back to when I was doing youth shows back in 94, right. I believe, yeah. That is Yuvavani, Hindi and English both.
Yes, the same program that we now broadcast as Yuv Tarang.
Coming to content creation, as we all know, AI has already changed the entire scenario in a big way, and perhaps a lot more we can look forward to. Yes, by way of content creation, it has changed the scene dramatically, I would say, because today almost everybody is a producer. We produce content at all times. We produce content of all kinds. You know, starting from entertainment to news to just about very personal things to interviews. So the major shift has been like there was a certain aura around media production, which is giving way to the common man coming in, and the aura is fast fading to some extent. It still remains, however, in a big way when it comes to big media houses, but still it has made room for so many people to come in, and AI in particular has made our work faster, perhaps smarter as some would say. But then for someone who's been, in the broadcast industry for quite some time, sometimes it hurts, I would say. The piece of writing that we would put together so painstakingly, looking up every word, arranging various permutations and combinations of our sentences and proudly producing a piece of writing and tell ourselves, look, I've arrived, I'm there, no more now. AI does that for me. But then at the same time, perhaps it makes those who take help of AI, it makes us faster, quicker, we can concentrate more on strategy and presentation. And the back office can be taken care of by AI.
And talking about that now, I would like you to tell our listeners also that what traditional media habits then, according to you, are going to completely disappear by the time 2030 arrives.
Traditional media habits. There's been a lot of talk of radio being pushed back by more of a modern kind of media, which again hurts. And, radio perhaps the most intimate medium, the most authentic medium. I mean, when you can carry a small radio set with you anywhere and everywhere, it automatically becomes an intimate medium. When you have answers to your every question on radio, it becomes the indispensable medium. We have all kinds of talk shows happening on radio. We can connect with a doctor. Radio looks into our entertainment needs, brings to us all kinds of advertisements. Radio brings to us story, drama, and whatnot. So one media habit, if you say radio is already being pushed back, Instagram is taking over for that matter because the younger generation would find it more, quicker, accessible, and yes, an opportunity to showcase themselves, which is not always possible on radio. It has its own schedules through which you can go on radio. And also, for example, OTT taking over traditional filmmaking, traditional films. And then, like we used to have 13 episode serials, and then it went on to serials running in for years and years, and that again has already taken a backseat because the world believes in quickies, short films and the stuff like that. Even theatre might be slightly relegated backseat, not out and out, but yes then. So the thing is, given AI and other forms of social media, all the forms of social media, they are going to take a front seat and everything else might be pushed back a little.
Okay. And how do you capture, when it comes to production in general, how do you capture the audience attention in, say, under 3 seconds? Because that is the reference to the short attention span we've been raving over quite a lot in this generation, especially.
The audience looks for what is in it for me. What is there for me to look in? And if that doesn't, kind of satiate, if that doesn't, cater to his curiosity, cater to the point of relevance that he is or she is looking for in the story, in the piece of media, he may totally disconnect with it, or she may totally disconnect with it, discard it, reject it. So it's important to give the audience today what matters for them, what is relevant for them by way of entertainment or any other thing they are looking for, career tips, health tips, be it whatever.
What strategy works best in your opinion to combat online misinformation, because we've so much of information overload?
Yes, because today we are in a mad rush to create, in a zeal, over enthusiasm to create. We are just pushing anything and everything for the audience out there, which should not be done. Content creation should be done mindfully, and also the same goes for reception. Even as an audience, we have to be mindful, and also we should not believe whatever is being thrown at us by way of social media, more importantly, because there is little or no fact checking going on today, because everybody is producing content. So we have to be mindful as producers also, as consumers also.
And I think that is one of the most important tips when it comes to content creation. And when I asked Priyanka how many media habits she thinks are going to disappear by the time 2030 arrives, I think one of the best media habits Priyanka sharing with you, according to me, also is the fact that people should come more to the field of fact checking when they are producing their content, so that consumers know what they are getting themselves into. And it has been more than 20 years since you have been in this profession, and I see that you have done a lot. What has been your most impactful career mistake and a lesson that you would like to share with our listeners?
I would say there have been many.
The most important one, according to you.
Like today's youth, we never had ready CV in hand. So I had this lovely opportunity of joining an international media setup in the Hindi wing. I was asked by the superior, the senior most person, and I could not submit my CV in time. It's like, oh my God, moment now. And it happened twice with me for 2 different media setups offering Hindi services, 2 different international media organizations offering Hindi service. And then something very important that was true at my time, again, I should have rather chosen print media over electronic media when I actually stepped into it. Because back at that time, opportunities in the electronic media were few and far between, whereas print was everywhere. There was a time when I had to move cities. Now I realize had I opted for print media back then, I had a couple of opportunities in hand. I would have been better off. But whatever has to be happens that way. Perhaps it was destined. I landed in a different place, and yes, a beautiful space, I would say.
Absolutely. Now, having spoken about your critical mistakes and the lessons that have come with it, what critical skill, according to you, is an absolute must for emerging media professionals and students?
I would say awareness to begin with. You should be open and mindful, looking at anything and everything around you. So be aware and alive to your surroundings. And similarly, anything else, a commoner's life could be recorded and presented on camera, on radio, maybe an audio medium, an audiovisual medium by way of a podcast that you are doing. So tools and techniques, yes, you ought to know the basics. If you are stepping into electronic media, you ought to know the basics of how to operate the equipment. If you are in the print media, should know how to write, how to put your thoughts well on a piece of paper, despite the presence of AI with you, because you also ought to know what you are actually trying to say, and also should be able to put it on paper in the right way, in the right earnest. Ditto for electronic media, you should be able to portray, you should be able to convey what you are trying to say. So that is the most important skill alongside the technical things that you need to learn.
So I think Priyanka has really put it very beautifully. First of all, awareness about your surroundings. The fact that every commoner out there in the street is also a celebrity in their own right, and you need to know what you need to cover. right? And along with the skill of expression. And since you talked about changing things and changing times, changing scenarios, there have been changing platforms. Any special message for our listeners who are both the consumers and producers of content these days, Priyanka?
Be responsible.
Very true.
As we said, a lot of fact checking is important, especially today when a lot of content is being churned out just by anybody and everybody. Be responsible while you are consuming, be responsible while you're producing. Again, repeating my own self. And that is how you will be doing a great service to the nation, Gone are the days when we needed government to step in and to say we'll ban the admin of a certain group if any group member puts out content that is not fit for consumption by the society, if it can bring some kind of unrest in the society or some kind of clash in the society. So we should learn to become responsible ourselves. We should read information firsthand. We should read newspapers daily for that matter. It's not only for the school-going students, college-going students, but those preparing for competitions who should read. All of us should read and consume the right kind of information from the right kind of authentic sources coming to us, All India Radio for that matter. Prestigious newspapers, credible newspapers, so that we do not spread misinformation out there.
Priyanka, you gave us such important insights about everything, about expression, about creativity, about responsibility. One thing that I would like to ask you is the importance of language in communication. Because you've been a person who's mentoring students, mentoring young minds, mentoring even mature minds in the field of communication and media, what importance do you think language holds? And I ask you this because in the world of social media communication, we have the kind of language being used which I do not think I can be proud of in so many ways, oftentimes.
When we auditioned for radio, the clarity of expression, the purity of language was of paramount importance. The pronunciation, the enunciation, that is what on which we were marked, alongside delivery and quality of voice and general knowledge and so many other things, presentation skills. Today, this is being overlooked in a big way, especially as you are saying on social media. Many a time, creators are not even aware of what the right word is. We are not aware of the correct pronunciation, the correct meaning also maybe. So that really hurts. There was a time we would look up All India Radio and Doordarshan and those best known newspapers were there if we wanted to know the right pronunciation, the right spelling. This has all eroded when we come to today's fast-paced media. As a content producer, you have a big responsibility on your shoulders. This is what we felt in our days from the day we were auditioned and recruited and were on the mic or the camera. Not only to give away right kind of information, but also the right pronunciation, the right enunciation. People look up to us as media creators, for the correct thing in every way. Same for content, same for the way we say it. So it's high time we started checking this also. That's of utmost importance.
We've been speaking with well-known media consultant Priyanka Dixit about navigating today's fast-paced media and communication landscape. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and your expertise with us today, Priyanka.
Thanks, Sheeba, for having me. It's homecoming for me. I started my broadcasting journey from All India Radio, Lucknow. This time as a guest, life has come full circle.
It was really a pleasure having you. And that is all for today's edition of the English program. Join us next Friday as we continue to bring you the stories and strategies that matter. Until then, I, Sheeba Rakesh, say namaskar. Stay informed and stay connected.